Maybe. Hey, oh my God, we are live. This is not the debate that's going on. This is the big beer debate of 2015. This is Brian from Seacoast Beverage Lab, and this is the Seacoast Beverage Lab podcast for Wednesday, the 16th of September, 2015. We're not going to get any viewers live in this one because everyone's watching those knuckleheads dance and give money to the media. So we're not going to talk about that. What we are going to talk about is beer, and we have like you thought last week was freaking crazy. We have three stories that are going to make your head spin if you're a big beer fan, but or a big craft beer fan, not a big beer fan. You know what I mean? That sounds like a debate, and I'm not a fan of big beer. Anyway, I'm drinking a Whirlpool from Night Shift in the new 16-ounce can.
Whoa, that looks sexy.
Yeah, big thanks to Frosty DG on Twitter for getting it. He's my usual beer mule. He travels far and wide for beer more than I do, so I appreciate the pickup. And it's tasty. It tastes the same as its 12-ounce counterpart. But yeah, they're going with 16 ounces now, and it's tasty treats. Joining me only is Shano. What's up, Shano? It's a boys' night.
How's it going, B?
Yo.
I'm currently hello, this is Sean Jansen from twobeerguys.com. I'm currently drinking a Rheingeist Hustle.
Nice. I like that label, like a baseball.
Yeah, it's named after Charlie Hustle.
Oh, well, there you go. That's awesome. So what kind of beer is it again?
This is a rye pale ale in a
How's that
can.
going? Is it good?
Just popped it.
Oh, sweet. Wait, first sip. Wait, hold on, folks. This is big.
Pretty good.
Nice. That sounds like a 3.75 on the Untapped scale right there.
It's funny, we both have listened to many other podcasts, and they all like will open the beer and you're like listening to it like, ooh, yeah, okay, that's good.
And you hear like the
Now,
big
on to the next topic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep, next one. But yeah, so Carla and Ben can't join us tonight. But the chat is wide open, sblpodcast.com if you're watching this live. We're gonna kick things right off. We got some and then we'll talk about what we've been doing because there's always stuff going on in our lives beer related. But we're kicking things off with an article. It's all over the place, but I'm reading it from Fortune magazine because usually that means business when Fortune and CNBC and CNN Money are picking it up. But released, I want to say late last week or during the weekend, co-founder and CEO Greg Cook of Stone Brewing Company out of Escondido, California, has announced that he is transitioning into a chairman role and stepping down from the role as CEO. And in the kind of cutting he put a video on YouTube, which I will send out, but you can look on Stone's YouTube page. But he had mentioned it's just the nature of development curve for Stone Brewing. I can do a pretty good job, but am I doing the best possible job in the role of CEO that can ever be done? I think we owe it to ourselves to look for a really incredible, strong addition to our team. So not stepping down from the company, stepping down as CEO, but he'll still remain on the chair and he'll still be one of the main faces of Stone. Did you hear about that, Sean?
I did. I read it and I go, okay, I could just see. I mean, I've been to many different events and activities where Greg's been at, and I know that. I mean, over time, just that the lifestyle, how much he was moving around and getting everywhere, it kind of takes a toll on your body. And didn't he take like the 6-month sabbatical?
Yeah.
To refresh.
Yeah.
So where no one heard from him, but I'm sure he was working every day. Well, no one heard from him from a social media standpoint.
Yeah, so I wonder if maybe that sabbatical had somewhat of an impact on these events. But yeah, it's crazy, and we've both been to that place, and obviously he's kind of like the guy, and with the big beard and the long hair, so he's pretty much an icon. So it'll be interesting to see who the CEO is and how kind of how in the know he is about beer. Is he going to be just kind of all business and won't show himself in the brewery, that kind of thing? But it'll be interesting because Jim Cook of Boston Beer Company obviously is all over the place. It'll be interesting to see who they get for Stone.
I think the whole reason and the idea behind it is that they want to have someone else be the face of Stone.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a tough follow. I don't know too many breweries where one person has sort of started off, and then someone else has become the new face of the company. I mean, I would guess that the Bush family, from the Anheuser-Busch organization, where they were multi-generations, and that they've been able to do that.
And they do it with Goose Island as well when they were transitioned over, didn't they? The father stepped down, give it to the son,
Yeah,
something like that.
yep. To Greg, I think it was Greg Hall. You could think of some of the older breweries like FX Matt. There's younger generations who, family members who have come into the picture. But I think it'd be very interesting to find somebody that not only has the same ideals and visions, but also has the personality that can be different and bold. I mean, Greg has a personality. You may agree or disagree with him, but even if you did disagree with him, you'd be like, "Oh, that's just Greg being Greg," and that's his views, and that's the way that he wants to put the direction in. Now, you'd always have to assume of whoever takes over, is that someone trying to be Greg, or is that someone trying to be themselves?
Yeah. It's crazy to we're talking about it as like the face of the company, but to a lot of people that just kind of just enjoy beer for whatever beer is, they might not know or care who the brewers or the owners are of these companies, because I mean, not because, but they're not. We don't see them on TV. We definitely don't see them at events around here. We've maybe a couple here and there, but only those that kind of really are in the know kind of would recognize that guy from Stone, because we don't really get much exposure by way of TV. It's usually social media, and that's pretty much it. I do enjoy Stone for having a YouTube channel that they constantly post well-produced videos about all the beer releases and stuff. So they're definitely making sure on that front, for those that want Stone YouTube videos, they can have their face full of Greg videos. But yeah, as far as like the layman, the one who just wants to have a nice Stone beer, might not even know who Greg is. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's hard to be a Stone drinker and a Stone fan without knowing who he is.
A fan, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true.
Fan.
It's like maybe there is a gargoyle as a CEO. Like, no, it's a real person.
I think there could be someone that would be able to step into it. I think it might be harder for maybe someone to step in and become the new face of Dogfish Head.
Yes. So that's a good call. It's like whenever that happens, if it does, like, that would be interesting.
Or if someone ever replaced Jim Cook from Boston Beer.
Yeah, I mean, because then he has to go through the whole thing. He's going to put a wool suit on, hop in beer. Like, that's the whole like christening of Boston Beer.
It's like how you announce or anoint the new pope.
Yeah, it's like instead of smoke, it's just like smoke of like beer being brewed or something.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, good. He's still alive, but it's not. My God.
It's a smoked porter.
Oh, nice one. Oh boy, that's a new beer idea, people. Let's do it. Whenever there's a new beer at a brewery, just smoke coming out of the roof. But yeah, so for more info, I would recommend going to Stone's YouTube page. There's a couple minute video of Greg talking through it. I did watch it. It's nice, as well as a bunch of the other videos. We got a couple other things, Sean. What do you want to go to next? You lead the way on this one. First of all, big hi to Pat in the chat, as per usual.
Hi, Pat. I may have missed you. I think my computer froze for a while.
Oh, sure. No, I was just saying, so let's go to the next topic. I want you to pick it. We got a couple left.
So, I guess this is like the biggest news article of the day, which is an announcement of Anheuser-Busch InBev with a proposal to purchase SAB Miller. So there's as you can imagine, this is not the first or the last time that we'll probably ever hear of this. There's been rumors off and on for quite some time. It was actually maybe, I don't know if the rumor was a year ago or if it's even been a year, but there was a rumor that SAB Miller was going to Heineken and asking them if they wanted to buy them up to kind of do a preempt to try to kind of control their own destiny. So we're looking at right now an article from brewbound.com, which will be up in the show notes. And just reading a section from there, according to the deal, it would unite the two largest beer companies together to control about 1/3 of the world's beer supply. Combining the drink giants would be valued at more than 270 billion, according to Reuters.
That's with a B.
Billion.
That's
270
a lot of quiche.
billion. Yes.
Oh man.
I believe the deal, and I'm just trying to make sure that I can read it properly, is that the deal does not involve SAB, does not involve any of the property or brands stateside in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
It's all an international play deal,
Yep.
and it does not include any of the items owned by or that was from a subsidiary in China.
Okay. Is that Sapporo?
No, it goes under. I'm trying to find out what exactly. CR Snow brand, or CR Snow.
Okay.
CR Snow is what they refer to as in China. So essentially, the reason why, obviously, is for antitrust and monopolies of why the U.S. wouldn't be able to actually go after the business, or the Anheuser-Busch would not be able to go after the business in the U.S. But in addition to that, the reason why it's still attractive is the footprint of countries that SABMiller is in outside of the U.S. is not a strong point for AB InBev. So it'd be going and basically expanding their market to territories where they're not the strongest player in.
Yeah, and I mean, and by the looks of this, I mean, by the sounds of it, it looks like there's an offer already in place, but it looks like this was kind of like a informal proposal. And it says here that AB InBev has 30 days, which the 30th day is the 14th of October, to make a formal offer or to pull out. So maybe it's like, here's our offer, and then like maybe we'll get it, legalized, and then you can decide. Then it will submit it as an offer.
Correct. And to be able to do that, though, is that they need to make sure that there are someone who will buy the other pieces, whether or not that Coors and Miller portion of the United States would be bought by themselves, or whether or not it would be, or at the same point, who would be buy the Chinese piece, of the piece of China. So they can't get the deal complete on their own. In this kind of the way that they did it, kind of prompts them and puts it out there as the proposal to try to make it move forward.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, even still, even if it isn't the U.S., that is $270 billion. I mean, it doesn't. I don't think it will. It obviously won't affect much on this side, but it still is kind of a big splash in the pool of worldwide beer. That's for sure.
You know what I think is interesting about it, and as people not inside knowing the intricacies of the SABMiller business, it would be interesting to know if there's any product in the portfolio made for the U.S. outside of the U.S. So, say that they had a location. Let's just say Mexico is a place where AB InBev would be able to would then control the SABMiller. Are they currently brewing any products in, say, Mexico that were then just sold and distributed in the United States? And if it did, it would kind of be interesting for the fact that it would put those two brands, or it would put those brands, they'd have to figure out the new place of where they're going to brew that at if they're no longer in relationship with. That's
a good call. Yeah, because that's super interesting. But I'm sure I'm not sure I'd like to see the portfolio side by side and kind of like, here's exactly what here's what SAB has to offer, or that AB InBev would get. But yeah.
Another thought though is that that there's the 10th and Plague division of SABMiller that handles like their Blue Moon, and a lot of their other specialty craft brands. Even so, the 20 some or 30% of Terrapin that they own. I wonder if any of those have contracts outside of the United States and selling those products outside the United States, if that then in turn, this deal would mean that you get those brands outside the United States also.
So selling but not brewing?
Yeah, so really this is what this is that it would allow Anheuser-Busch to sell all of those Miller products outside of the United States.
So yeah,
SAB Miller portfolio.
Yeah, but and you make a good point. So you're asking, are they still able to sell beers that aren't brewed or that are brewed in the US but sold?
Right.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wonder if it's under a different portfolio. That's very interesting, because we're talking about now. We're going back to last week's conversation of Lagunitas and Heineken. It's only worldwide is where Heineken's going to be distributed, not the other way. It's crazy. But you did mention something that might have been an on-purpose segue about 10th and Blake.
I didn't, but it was perfect.
But it's happening because on the other side of the acquisition, but in the U.S., Miller Coors 10th and Blake buys St. Archer Brewing out of San Diego. Now, according to this article that we're reading, St. Archer was founded in 2013. I have only been to San Diego since like 2012, so I missed them. Did you have any of their beer when you were out there?
I would have to check Untapped. I believe I believe I've had some of their beer, but I can't remember specifically where.
I mean, it doesn't sound super exciting. Only from what I'm reading, and at face value, I could be sounding like an asshole right now. But
I'm familiar with the brands. They're a very hot brewery in San Diego, with having over 100 breweries in that one area of the San Diego County. They have become a leader in the market.
Interesting. But with beers like Blonde Ale, IPA, White Ale, and Pale Ale, I guess, especially in San Diego, you got to make good beer to be standing out in that scene for sure.
And they only sold their beer in California. They didn't brew. They didn't sell anything outside of California.
Bunch of surfers making beer.
Yeah.
Let's see. But yeah, that's and it says the offer the transaction is going to be complete in October 2015, and that's an outright. It's an outright buy.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So I mean, that's just like it's. Yeah. I wonder if it's going to be. Are they going to make more of it? Where in other facilities, or are they just going to buy and just distribute it for now? Who knows?
From some of the stuff that I read, it sounded like that they were going to possibly try to sell in the full state of California first, which they don't currently do.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll go statewide, and then St. Archer's management and team will continue to brew, package, ship, and sell their portfolio of brands. St. Archer will run as a separate business unit of 10th and Blake, which as we see of a lot of breweries that are acquired from other bigger ones. I'm interested to see. I'm going out to Portland next, the PDX, as in the West Coast, next week, and I'm interested to go to. We were talking about, oh boy, that brew that was just bought by AB.
Barrel
10 barrel. Yeah, so I'm going. They open up a spot in Portland. I'll be going to check out. Just, I mean, obviously that's all they're doing there. Like, they're brewing the beer there and in their other brewery, but it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I probably won't even ask any questions because I don't want to be kicked out. but I've had a couple of their beers and they're fantastic. So it's all about, like I said last week and I said before, as long as the beer being brewed tomorrow is the same as it was that made them popular, cool. Because the second the beer starts tasting different, it's gonna be bad for any brewery.
We didn't really talk about it last week, but we were talking about the classifications and what makes a craft brewer. So if you missed that episode, please tune in because we really had a great discussion on it. But I was just saying, we really never talked about why. It's just something I thought about, why craft beer for me had become a direction of where I wanted it to put my attention to focus on. And that was because at the time there were a lot of these brands out there that were faux craft beer breweries, where that you could see that it was brewed in somewhere, but it didn't really, you never really knew what it was like, who made it.
Yeah.
I remember that one that had a snowman on it. I forget what the name of the beer was.
Yeah.
But there was a couple beers that came out, and you're like, okay, this is not a small local brewery. It's made by one of the big guys, and
It's true.
and
There's big, yeah. I mean, what was one of the bigger ones with that AB? I mean, this is years ago that they started to come out with like a red or an amber, and it wasn't labeled Budweiser. It was something else. It was like, oh, okay, so that's how they're gonna play this game.
yeah,
But or I mean, and not even it's not comparable, but the Not Your Father's Root Beer is one of those beers
exactly.
that you don't give a crap who brews it. It could be anybody. People are loving it. And side note, I saw a Instagram that it's now in cans.
I actually saw some package of it in cans.
Oh boy, here we go.
I actually saw it at Sam's Club.
Oh gee, so it's right next to AMW and Barks. It's kind of snuggled right in the middle.
It was in the it said not boys or girls section because they don't do that anymore. In the children's section.
Oh yeah, it's right there. Yeah.
But you know that debate, right? Of that they said boys' toys and girls' toys, and all the parents got mad, and so Target had to change all of their signs.
Like one aisle's pink, one aisle's blue. It's like, come on, just make it yellow and sell Barbies and Hot Wheels. But
exactly.
But the confusing marketing is it's not your father's. So is it mine as a kid? Is it my root beer? I'm having it.
Maybe it's your mother's.
Maybe it's your mom's. Oh God, if mom's drinking that, look out, Rick Bruce. No, kidding.
We should just make some shirts that say "Mom's Root Beer."
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's opposite day, or is it? Depending on the world that we live in. But let's go on to the next one. Do you want to give a little check because we're talking about acquisitions and purchases, and this one is no different.
Yeah. So this next one's kind of close to my day-to-day work business.
Yeah, the old wheelhouse.
This was announced on Monday, and what it was announcement was Gehausen in Vermont, which was they operated in the whole state, in the southern part of the state of Vermont. They had a smaller AB wholesalership. In the full state, they sold wine, Red Bull, along with many craft beers, including Sierra Nevada, Stone, Two Roads, Rising Tide, Lost Nation, Trap
21st.
Brewing, 21st Amendment, Founders Brewing Company. They have decided to actually sell their entire portfolio of liquids to a long family Farrell Distributing, which was a Burlington, Vermont area Anheuser-Busch wholesaler, so AB InBev wholesaler. And the reason why that this was close to me is that it's actually one of my employers.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Which Farrell?
No, Clark.
So yeah, right.
So Gehausen. Yep. Gehausen was our sister company in Vermont.
Yeah, so that'll be
So I know a lot about what their business is, and we actually kind of have a bunch of brands in addition to Foolproof. I mean, there's a, if you could think of they had Baxter. I just could just keep on thinking more of the brands that they had about Smutty Nose.
Yep.
So all these different brands that they had in Vermont are now going to be, they're selling off their portfolio, which makes it interesting. I know that I know that it's an unknown thing. It could happen to anyone at any time, and I just think it was just a time in the market that it was needed for a change for the Gehausen portion of the company, and they found an opportunity that worked right, that they felt that would be great for the brands, the portfolio that they have, and also for the employees of their business, because I know that they made a strong push to make sure that their employees had a job opportunity in the new company.
But is it to get the beer that's distributed in New Hampshire up to Vermont, or like what? How I guess.
No, so they had the distribution rights for many of these brands in the whole state of Vermont.
Okay. Oh, they did, and so that's what they bought.
Or they do right now.
Yeah.
And as of October 31st, they will have sold it to Farrell Distributors.
Gotcha.
Distributors. Yeah.
Very interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, so right now the same family operates a wholesaler out of Keene, New Hampshire, and a wholesaler out of Berlin, New Hampshire, along with a non-alcoholic division in Massachusetts.
Okay. Yeah, it's we rarely talk about breweries being acquired by other breweries, but now we're talking about distributors, which is it's a entirely different ballgame.
Yeah,
Where
and
it affects a lot, but it's still like it's a different side of the coin there.
I think it's been happening for a while on the distributor side.
Okay.
But more so that now that we have Brewbound and we have Beer Advocate very active and all these other media sites very active, I think that it's become more forefront to the central where of news where people will be like, okay, this is now something that's affecting more brands because there's more craft breweries out there.
Yeah.
So it has that major effect. So, and
Yeah.
times change and you have to make sure that you're positioning yourself to be successful in the future.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, and it's like you said, it's probably happening more than we understand or know. But this is it's kind of one of those big ones. Shout out to Burlington, just because I'm going there next week.
Sweet.
But not, I mean, obviously not to partake in these distributed brands, more so the brands that aren't being distributed at all or being distributed by themselves. So we're looking forward to those.
There's a very interesting statement in this Brewbound article, which I think would be interesting for anyone listening or watching. After the acquisition, it's projected that Farrell Distributing will control about 50% of the statewide beer sales market.
And
they have a big Vermont. Profile portfolio too. Like I know Farrell not only is Long Trail and Harpoon, but they also have brands such as Citizen Cider and actually I don't know their whole portfolio too well, but I know they have.
And I am no money man, and I don't really know if this is a monopoly or not, or if it would turn out to be. But it seems that's 50% is kind of a ton, especially in one of the biggest beer states of the country.
That 50%, I mean, it really comes from the fact of that you're expanding your large brewery footprint.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you looked at what percentage of craft it was, I don't know what that would be combined, but it's probably
right. It is. Yeah, I'm thinking but it is still quite a bit.
The other, I mean, it's very interesting that even Vermont, like as a beer distributor, you also sell wine and I think you sell spirits too. So I mean, those having that big of a portfolio is pretty crazy. It's a big book.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye on this and other stuff as Vermont begins to take over the entire country with beer and breweries. But yeah, I don't have much. I wanted to try to find something really quick that was more localized. Give me 1 second as I type.
Why don't you do that? I'll talk about some of the events that are coming up.
Yeah, go ahead, because this is interesting. Go ahead.
So some of the events for New Hampshire, at least coming up this weekend, 18th, 19th, 20th. There's a little to-do going on up in Lincoln, New Hampshire called the Highland Games, which is the area's largest Scottish festival. I don't know if you've ever been to the Highland Games, Brian, but you have an opportunity to see some of like the strongmen competition, caber toss, the stones, and
I keep hearing about that, and in fact, some coworkers of mine are going up too, but I've never been. Heck, I mean, we were there for the beer fest. The same location, but
yes. Same location, but they use more like everything gets used there because it's massive.
Yeah.
So you can see like Scottish dancers, pipers, but the craziest part is actually people watching because you'll see people like in all sorts of like leather to metal armors and arrows and like bows and arrows and long swords and short swords and shields and axes. I mean, it's all crazy stuff that goes on at the Highland Games. In addition to the Highland Games this weekend, there are two Brewfests if people are interested. One in the Seacoast, the Taste of the Nation. I don't know if that's sold out. Usually it sells out
You're talking about Passport.
Passport, yeah.
Yep.
I always call it
I don't know if
Taste
it's
of the
sold out.
Nation.
I'll check it out right now.
Yeah, so this Passport, which is at Strawberry Bank. Typically, how Passport works is that they invited X number of breweries and X number of restaurants, and a brewery teams up with the restaurant, and they're kind of right next to each other at a booth, and the restaurant makes a dish that pairs with the beer. And you got to walk around with like these fancy plates that you can hold your cup at the same time and have some food.
Yeah, I am looking, and I believe at the website I have saying it is completely sold out.
Okay, so if you got tickets to it, awesome. If you don't, put it on your calendar for next year.
Hell yeah, for sure. And it's super. The price point definitely scares a ton of people, especially for the VIP thing. What doesn't help is the event is only, for those that are just main event, is only 2.5 hours, which isn't a super big amount of time for what's going on. But as I say, and as we talk about, it's an awesome event. Like it's one you can't miss. But at least go once. But the time, like a lot of beer fests are like 4 hours. This is only 2.5, but over a lot of space. So
so you're at historic Strawberry Bank, which is like how would you describe what Strawberry Bank is?
It's like I was gonna toss out a reference of Sturbridge Village,
like a Renaissance fair.
No, yeah, exactly. It's like it's politicians of the early ages walked around those places with like legit like chalices of beer and we're like that's where stuff happened.
If it was Philadelphia, it would be where Ben Franklin lived.
Totally. And I mean, it is believed that Washington had a beer there as well. They still make handmade casks there as well. Like during the event, you'll see them wood firing casks and kind of carving them out of nothing. So it's pretty badass.
They may not be selling beer, but maybe grog.
You can have lots of grog. Yes. Oh man! So I did find out what I wanted to say really quick. Oh, did you have any more events?
Yes. So the second event on Saturday is the second annual Claremont Brewfest in Claremont, New Hampshire. Nice. If you're unfamiliar with Claremont, basically go to Concord and head west, and it's pretty much on the Vermont border. It's their second annual. I think they have about 30 different breweries at it. And it's live music. It's a pretty fun time, and you wouldn't for a couple hours you wouldn't realize that you're in Claremont.
It's awesome. Are you going to that, or you just?
I will be there in the afternoon. Yep.
Sweet. All right. And what was the date again?
That's Saturday the 19th.
Saturday. Oh God! So you're going this weekend?
Yes.
My bad, man.
Other things coming up, not this weekend. If you want to do a couple more dates first.
Yeah, because our shows will be spotty at best this next couple weeks.
Yeah. So for anyone listening from around the country, starting the 24th through the 26th is the Great American Beer Festival.
God bless.
The GA, otherwise known as the GABF, which is sort of like the Holy Grail, the Mecca of all festivals, the granddaddy of festivals that everyone. Very few are invited to, but everyone would like to go to it.
Yep.
In addition to that, the 26th and the 27th, which is that Saturday and Sunday, is the let's say it's the third annual WIM Oktoberfest.
Excellent.
So coming up really quickly, the WIM Oktoberfest that was in Portsmouth, New Hampshire on Route 1. I believe the Sunday is a car show also.
Interesting. At the WIM on the WIM premises.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll add to the Oktoberfest celebration real quick that Shillings is this weekend as well.
Ooh.
Up the way.
Did not know.
I believe it's Saturday from noon to 5. Momo, previously host of the show, we were up there last year for it, and it was their first one, and it was a super good time. And their beers are obviously perfect for it. But yeah, WIM's, I've yet to go to any of WIM's Oktoberfest and again, I'll be missing this one too because of other September stuff. But yeah, go because it's awesome.
So for Carla, if you ever do listen to the show on a replay,
if she does,
there are now events in New Hampshire that you haven't been to. That more and more events every year. So come back to New Hampshire, check something out new.
For sure. God, come on, get back here. And I'll toss out. Like I said, I threw out the Schilling one. I Deciduous now has consistent hours in New Hampshire. Stoneface is now open 7 days a week. So big shout outs to them. Ooh, how's that Riverwalk IPA treating you?
Let's see.
You get in there.
Savor our liquid ode to hops.
Ooh, it's
We
good.
love to celebrate the many virtues of the simple hop flower. For us, hops are the treasure chest of brewing, full of mysteries and surprise. For a full, complex flavor and aroma, we have combined our favorites in this beer. Your treasure awaits.
You're gonna make me cry with that almost. That was good. Yeah, well, yeah, I gotta get down there, and I just saw on their Twitter they're releasing another beer as well at Riverwalk.
If you just some other New Hampshire brew news,
Yeah,
we have 2 New Hampshire breweries that are on the cusp of either getting their own canning for the first time and or getting their own canning line.
go. What do we got?
Both canning lines are expected to arrive in October, and that would be Henniker Brewing and 603.
Because 603 uses Ironheart.
Ironheart. Yep.
Okay, yeah, but that's cool about Henniker because I remember they wanted to do canning early on, but it was
They wanted, yeah, and they've kind of waited, and I believe with Henniker, they will have multiple flavors of their core brands in cans.
We should get Chris on here again for the third time, aka the 2.5 time.
Well, we could always also invite the senator too.
Oh man, we need to go there for that, and just stogies and that'd be awesome. Yeah, but that's good stuff.
Have a little fireside chat.
Oh, we should. Oh, that'd be awesome. We're doing it. It's happening. So I'm gonna reach out to Chris. Say, listen, this is what's going on. Yeah, that's cool. Good for those guys. And the cans of Great North have been rolling through. I got a couple in my fridge right now. I'm a fan. I don't know when their tasting room is opening up officially, if it is already. But
which ones have you had so far?
I've had them all. I had, but
you went to the opening, right?
Yeah, I think I'm more. So I'm a huge Rauch beer fan. I need more smoke out of it, and I think the plan was to let people kind of get into it, and they'll add more smoke as it goes. Because the Rauch beer,
you're gonna add smoke to a goes?
No, Rauch beer. What?
Boy. Add smoke to a goes.
Oh boy, they're the old beer puns. No.
Talk about a hybrid though.
I think that smoke goes would be great. There's a Dunkel goes on at Portsmouth Brewery right now, which is fantastic. But no, the smoke, the Rauch beer is excellent. But the robust vanilla porter, the RVP, is dynamite. I'm a big fan. And
is that what you predict to be their flagship?
So, but they have 3, and I think that they're not gonna name one, but there are 3 flagships, and which are their year rounds are IPA, RVP, and Rauch beer. I would say if they have a flagship, it would be the Rauch beer because, as I mentioned, he won the Patriot competition for Sam Adams with that beer. So
doesn't that make it very interesting that the second new brewery to start with a smoked beer would being their most popular then? If that prediction comes
it'd be nice. But it's not a style we see around here, often enough. So I'm pumped to see that year round just because it's nice.
And I'm referring to Burning the Ships.
Oh right, Abel, big fan. Yes. I saw their truck today in Portsmouth as I was driving through. So I think they only distribute to Thirsty Moose, I think, around here in Portsmouth. A keg or 2. I'm not sure though. Anyway, last bit of cool news for those that are big fans of the sport. Smutty Nose. Have you ever been to the new Smutty Nose Brewery in the past year since they've opened? They have a lot of space and so much space they don't know what to do with it. Well, they've found out what to do with it. And if you go to Smutty Nose Beer on Instagram, they have posted a picture of what exactly they're going to do with the entire space. They're turning it into a 9-hole? Yeah, 9-hole official. As official as disc golf can get, disc golf course. And they've posted the map on there with the layout. He said the art of the map isn't official, but the course layout is absolutely official, and it shows where it's basically it's covering the entire green of of Toll Farm on Toll Farm Road there. And then their latest one from 6 hours ago on Instagram was all of the disc golf goals, like chains, things you throw them in. I never play disc golf, so it's there. But so it's adding on to the Sweaty Nose fun. We have Sweaty Nose Brewery, Hayseed, and a disc golf course. It's like a what is that place called? Storyland. It's but of beer.
Where adventure is for everyone.
Yeah, I'm more of a Santa's Village guy, but whatever. No, but Sean, you a big disc golf fan? You take me for a disc golf guy.
You know what? I don't know if I've played it.
Neither have I.
That's why I'm trying to open up.
I had a guy call it a work once because he pulled an ACL or torn ACL playing disc golf, and I'm like, you are lying. It's not true.
So what do? You just, if anyone can see that on my screen.
Yep.
See that? That's the. So we just throw a frisbee towards a hole.
Yeah, get in there. So the pole, as it were, is
there's a pole and you try to knock something off of it.
So it's a pole that goes straight up with like a cage around it, and I guess you can throw it right at the pole and it would go in the chains. If my computer wasn't stupid, I would be able to share that. I can share it right here. Here we go. So there's the picture on the YouTube vid. But yeah, so it's basically there's these poles right here, and you kind of throw in the basket, and that's how you make disc golf. When a male disc, never mind, and that's how disc golf's made.
How do you know the male's not the basket?
That's what I'm saying. The old basket case, classic guy joke.
I can honestly say that I've never played disc golf, and maybe this will be the first time I ever have.
Oh man, yeah. Hey, maybe we'll do a live podcast, 9 holes of disc golf. We might have to do that.
Or we can Periscope it.
Oh, we could Periscope the entire thing. Yeah, that'd be cool. I should need a battery for that because it'll take us a while to get through this course, even though it's only 9 holes. But yeah, so I think that's gonna do it for this. We're talking about breweries buying breweries, distributors buying distributors. It's the news never stops, which is why we try to cover it. What do you got?
I remember one of the topics that we were going to discuss tonight.
Ooh, can we save it for next week? What do you got?
It's related to our guest from Michigan that will be coming on.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, hit it.
So the finally approved in the state of New Hampshire as of last Thursday is Founders Breakfast Stout. And we don't have a specific date, but he will be on the show. One of the co-founders of Founders, Dave Ebners of Founders Brewing Company, and we'll get a chat with him about Founders in general, but also with the challenges of how New Hampshire law has not only affected the sales of breakfast stout in New Hampshire, but has recently made breakfast stout label illegal in Michigan.
Yes, and the label's been out there too. Not out there, but it's on the interwebs, and it's pretty cool what they did to it. I'm excited. It's a good beer. It's a damn good beer. I got a 5-star on Untappd. 5 stars.
I'll tell you right now that there is a launch date for New Hampshire.
Nice.
You ready? You ready, or do you want to save it?
No, hit. What do we got?
October 1st.
Oh, nice.
Yes, it's a Thursday.
Yes.
So it's not too far from now.
That's awesome. Really quick, how the hell was the brewery? You went there last week.
The brewery was massive. It's Grand Rapids is it's getting to be a pretty hip city. It would be a fun place to visit. It's not the easiest place to visit because you have to fly to Detroit to get there. And then when flying to Detroit, what that means you go to this ridiculously big airport. You have to walk from one end of it to the other end to get to your airplane. Half an hour later, you're finally, oh, look, I have half an hour in between. You have to book it to get there. They do have a monorail system up top, back down, rather than just keep going. So
yeah.
But the brewery itself, they just completed a massive expansion. Their fermentation vessels, 1,500 gallons per vessel.
Woo.
Or 1,500 barrels. 1,500 barrels per vessel.
So usually you're seeing 15 barrels.
Yeah.
So time that by.
You see a 40-barrel fermentation tank, or you see a 60-barrel fermentation tank, but these are 1,500. in one tank. I just can't imagine that. It's a lot of flocculations.
That's the name of the show right there. It's a lot of flock, right? Did you have any good beers there as well that you might not have had before? Is that even?
I did. I had so they had a beer called Spectre Trifecta, which is a saison with chamomile, ginger, and lemongrass. That was actually pretty solid. I did have some fresh Red's Rye IPA on draft, which was delicious. They're coming out with a coffee hybrid of their pale ale called Pale Joe.
Okay.
Which was it's like a pale ale, not very dark, but has a nice rich coffee flavor to it.
Okay.
That was pretty solid. There was I'm trying to think other than that. There's a new beer that may become the spring seasonal called Azaka. I think a single hopped beer that they're coming out with and that they were doing test batches of. It might be the final batch, but I'm not sure at this point.
Yeah.
And they had that on draft. Their tasting room or their restaurant area was amazing. The place is massive.
It's awesome. And then Carla wasn't there, but she was in the same city. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, she flew in when I was flying out, which was crazy.
You didn't see her? You didn't do the bump in? Didn't work out? Yeah.
No.
Well, I guess that's going to do it. I mean, we'll be back next week with another episode of the podcast. I know the week after that and the week after that, we will not have anything. But needless to say, we'll
have something for people to download?
Oh, we will. Yeah, for sure we will. And if not, and that's not to say if I miss it that Sean and Carl, because Sean and Carl have done their own shows before. Sean's a hell of a showrunner. So let's go.
Let's do it.
And shout out to ALJ Peace on the Instagram on the Untapped checking in right there with the SBL podcast hashtag, which you should be doing too if you listen to this episode. Hashtag it SBL podcast. And for Carla and Shano, I am Brian, and thank you again for watching. And cheers, Sean. And we'll see you next week.
Cheers. Sir.